My biggest problem right now is it worth dying for this shot I have in my mind right now? So totally wet already, not touching the icicles. Oh, pressing myself through the icicles without them falling off. Today I'm in southern Bavaria for a new winter adventure in Germany, and right now on the way to Hinnanger waterfall, because this is one of the most beautiful waterfalls in Germany when frozen over, because there are many really long ice cycles on the specific waterfall. The last couple of days it was really freezing here in southern Germany. We had 2 nights in a row with temperatures below minus 20 degrees Celsius. It's around 0 degree Fahrenheit, and hence the ice, the freezing on the waterfall is really spot on right now. Today is the last day of sub-0 Celsius freezing temperatures here, and after like over a week of freezing temperatures, and so this is the perfect time to go to the waterfall, because the longer I wait, the longer and better will be the ice cycles on the waterfall itself, and yeah, better for my photos. So even thinking more temperature below freezing point means more ice on the ice waterfall. Here's a pretty good example for river icing, because here there's thick ice and there's still the river flowing, and there's a small cascade, and down there's also the water flowing, and if I step on this I probably will break into the ice and fall into the cold water. So never ever go on 2 overfrozen mountain rivers with fast streams, because they are building hollow spaces below the ice where you can break in. Closing the last meters to the waterfall. It's over there. Well, it was not a long hike, but sometimes you had to take care on the stairs to not slip on the ice. Absolutely fantastic. I'm now at the waterfall and it's absolutely amazing. Look here behind me. It's totally frozen over, and it's like the waterfall here shielded itself in thick ice, and this is only possible when there are temperatures well below the freezing point, because here they're still dropping liquid water down from the mountain, and only with really low temperatures in the air all the thermal energy can be sucked out of the water, so that you can get this really long ice cycles down here. And now it's around minus 10 degrees Celsius, and later on it will warm up, and then all the ice cycles will fall off even in freezing temperatures. So that you know how tall this waterfall is. This here, from the top all the way down, this should be around 20 meters. You can see the liquid water is running down here and then taking this path, and so it's running on the surface of the frozen ice cycles. And yeah, this is pretty amazing, because it's only possible because of the temperatures well below freezing temperature here. I've discovered something really amazing I've never seen before. There's now hoarfrost on the ice, and this happened because of the water temperature being well above freezing point now, and so the water is evaporating down here and keeping the humidity in the air up. And afterwards, when the water vapor goes from here all the way up into the freezing temperatures of the air, it will settle down on the ice directly as hoarfrost. You can now see here that there are different parts of the ice which already fell down even in the freezing temperatures, and look how long it is. And here there are the points where it broke off. One really stupid thing to do is to stand directly beneath the ice, because when it breaks off it will fall directly on my head and I will probably be a little bit disabled after it hit my head, or even be dead. Well, after being amazed by all the ice here, let's come back to the hard photo business, how to capture an image composition and overall composition of this location right now. And I brought something I normally never bring with me with photography, because I'm not a filter photographer, but for today I actually brought my ND 1000 filter or 3.0, and this will enable me to do long exposure photography of this waterfall to get the water pretty smooth, because I want smooth water for the hard ice to stand really out in my image. The lens I will use today is a Tamron 16 to 30 millimeter. I will not use a prime wide angle lens with a fixed focal length, because when I climb down to the waterfall I need to be flexible with my focal length to find the right image composition here, and it perfectly fits the filter holder I brought with me, because it does not have a really curved frontal lens. And of course, if you're climbing around waterfall, it's important to bring spikes for your shoes so that you don't slide off the ice and then fall into the water or even deeper and kill yourself. If you look at this composition here right now, your main problem is that you cannot actually see how large this part of the ice actually is. And hence, I would need something in the foreground to show the true size of the ice. And luckily, I brought someone with me to be in the composition somewhere here in the foreground, and afterwards, your eyes and your brain have an idea how tall actually the waterfall is right now. One really good thing to do is to bring a tripod with those ice spikes at the end of your legs, because here everything is slippery, and so this will hold your tripod in position. So I got the camera on the tripod with the filter holder here, and I'm actually using a 1.8 ND filter here with a polarizer, because you see here there's a little bit of a glaze on the water, and I want to remove that glaze with the polarizer right now. When I turn my polarizer, you can see that there will be more glaze or less glaze on the water, and of course I want to have the version where there is no glaze in the water at all. So my settings are 8 seconds f7.1 to get a little bit more of a depth of a field, ISO 100 and underexposed 1 complete aperture, and I now do HDR composition with 3 images to get all the details here. And if you look closely, you can see that the lights on the ice is blown out, and I need to recover those lights with an HDR exposure. Got my exposure bracketing here, and what I do now is I remove the front part of the filter with the ND 1.8 filter, so that I can have a short exposure time when the model is standing in my foreground. After removing the filter, I got 1/5 of a second exposure time, which is too long for a model shooting, so we'll set the ISO a little bit higher to 400. This is the best ISO for my camera, for the Sony a7 IV, and got 1/20 of a second, and this will probably do for the shooting. Well, you see it's a little bit harder to get in position for this shot, but luckily she got that going. Well, but what I discovered now is that she doesn't fit into the composition where she is here right now, or I need to move my camera to another position, which is a little bit stupid because I already got my exposure bracketing, but well, I need to remove my camera from here. So I got myself in a new position and I'm misusing the handrail as part of my tripod, and as you can see, I switched into portrait mode because this fits the composition more right now. I'm normally only using landscape, but this time portrait mode is a little bit better, and I'm starting all over again. So she left now the composition, and I added again the ND filter to the holder. So now I do the long exposures to get smooth water, and afterwards I will do a composition with that and just Photoshop her back in place. I brought myself into another position, and as you can see from this perspective, I'm getting even more in my composition of the waterfall. What I do now, I have the filter on and I do another exposure bracketing here right now, and afterwards I will get my model to sit exactly here and see how this will look like. So if she falls, I have it on video at least, and afterwards I will be famous on Instagram. So I got her now in composition. She's a little bit complaining, but she tells me I should do the photo. But well, look at it. It's now perfectly fine. So she's not feeling her fingers anymore. Everything is covered in snow. But I think I get some amazing shots. A thing no one of you ever should do. I will go down beneath the icicles, down the waterfall, somewhere over there. And yes, it could happen that one of those things fall on me, but I will stick to the side, to the stone wall, so that it cannot hit me too easily. And when I'm down there, there are no big icicles over my head, so there I will be safe. I will want to have myself in my image composition right now to show the size of the icicles here, and I will do a time lapse. So every second I do a photo, and when I'm standing here I will do some posing, and afterwards I will have myself in my photo. So I will now start my descent down all the way here, down there to the waterfall. And well, at first I will get a little bit wet, of course, and yeah, I'll film it all the time for you. First station of getting wet. I will be totally wet afterwards, because I have to go in the middle of the water. Well, nice. Water's now tripping around myself. Down here. So totally wet already. Not touching the icicles. Oh. Removing the smaller icicles. I'm totally wet right now. Pressing myself through the icicles without them falling off. All right, and now I'm in place where I wanted to be. So I'm now dripping wet down to my bones, but here I'm standing under all the waterfall, and if you look up, here I can safely stand because there are only small icicles here, and somewhere over there's my camera here taking picture in the time-lapse mode of me. And well, it's absolutely amazing to stand on a waterfall, and probably it's not more unsafe than ice waterfall climbing. I'm really happy with the final result of this photo I took, because with me standing in the foreground, I can now finally see the true size of the icicles hanging down from the waterfall, and I must say it was worth risking my life for that. Of course, I try to stay as safe as possible. Well, and I hope you enjoyed my video, and I hopefully you will watch the next video also. Now enjoy some more videos I took of the waterfall and have a happy time.